get this for the YouTubers who you guys go ahead and like and subscribe. Skating right now, I think, is just one of the coolest things around. I don't think anything is really on the level of skating right now. You know, I think skating is taking the cake. I think other sports, to me, have become a little bit too ceremonial, um, and that's fine for people who like it. I just don't care. You know what I mean? So I don't want to fund it, and I won't. Um, the coolest thing I was gonna get into was F1 for a while, right? But it's still too much ceremony, too much reason to rig it, you know, um, and just be weird about it. And then, recently I got into F1 after what they did to Lewis Hamilton. I couldn't, not again. Then I was looking at NASCAR. NASCAR actually looks kind of cool. On the lowest of keys, I might look into NASCAR a little bit more. I'd like to see what they're doing technically with the vehicles. I know it's probably amazing, and of course you got to be safe. So NASCAR's interesting to me. NASA, interestingly enough, is also, these are all about vehicles. Vehicles, why? Because vehicles are basically the coolest thing, the closest thing to a super suit that you can give a human. Um, but skateboard is still the top right now, I think, because of authenticity. That's right. I think skateboarding is more interesting than space travel. Because right now, people talk bad about skaters. Because one thing I do have beef with skaters about is the attention to health and safety. I think we need more attention to health and safety. Um, and then, what was I going to say? One thing about skaters, more attention to health and safety. Oh yes, but space, NASA, that stuff. What's kind of arguably way worse, because these guys are out here. Safe is not a space is not a safe place for human beings. I'd love to see more in-depth reports of the effects on space travel on astronauts, because it can't be good. I used to think I still like the idea of space, and I like the sci-fi versions of people going to space, but as space travel is right now, I don't want to go to space. I don't want to do that. I have no desire to do that. And same thing with the way a lot of people skate. I don't desire to skate the way you're skating. The reason why I can't do tray flips is because there's almost a 0% chance that I'm going to do a tray flip without falling, based off of the amount of time I've had to approach skating. Once I get over that and I can actually do certain things, like, I'm just not trying to get hurt. To me, it's not worth it to risk things, and I wish the skateboard industry was safer. And that's one of the things I'm going to be an advocate for, definitely when it comes to skating. But other than that, skating is just so much fun. So I think it's actually the most interesting thing right now. Like, for instance, if we pop over to YouTube for a second, and before, but I'm wondering now, does YouTube like that people use it on other stuff? I don't know. But let me bring you into this video. This is a video that SLS does of behind the scenes of some of their stuff. Actually, I don't care about that clip. It's a little best of that they dropped. Little best of. I'm gonna toss that to you right now. I'm being extra dramatic, because I can. There's not a lot of things I can do, but of those things that I can do, one of them is be dramatic. But anyway, here's some SLS right now. This is just some footage from a random SLS, Street League Skateboarding. But this event has been one of my favorite events to watch. when it comes to skating, and this is such good quality because you see, what you have here is a bunch of people who are really pushing themselves. Because competitive skating itself can go one of two ways. You know, there's a lot of science involved in skating. A lot of science involved in skating. Skaters themselves, though, like true practitioners, aren't necessarily in on all of the science. They are the most fundamentally relevant to the science itself, and of course, they themselves have deep knowledges of certain aspects of how the science relates to their execution. But they don't know everything about how a board's made, or tracks or anything like that. But that doesn't mean anything really, because they're understanding the practice. But there is that world if you want to get into that, and then there's the artistry, and even the marketing and the sales. Sales to me is almost in the realm of artistry as well. But you look at the graphics on the boards, and then the culture of skating. These guys are not out here in uniforms or anything like that. Like, the culture of skating and all of these. This is Jamie Foy, for example. He does okay in the SLSs pretty well. I don't even really remember. Let's see what he gets on this one. But when it comes to his own skating career, he's out there. You know what I mean? He's out there in the streets, really grabbing what is really the art of skateboarding, which is these parts. These parts that they do, especially street skating. These parts that they do in the streets, and then they get published by these skateboarding culture outlets. And skateboarding is so unique in that way that it has these outlets set up that really are just sharing art. But yeah, I was gonna show some Jamie Foy clips, but I'm not gonna do that. And so anyway, other than that, I've also been checking out the Nine Club. I know I talk about them. Who else though? Paul Rodriguez has been doing a really great job also on his YouTube page. And he's been dropping regular vlogs. This one he did behind the scenes, and he's over here at Chris Cole, who's another great skater. He's at his spot, one of his spots. I don't really know the details on how much it is his spot or whose spot it is or what kind of spot. But just to see the behind the scenes, Paul Rodriguez is interesting enough. Okay, you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Paul Rodriguez, what was I gonna say? Paul Rodriguez is tops on his own. Chris Cole is tops on his own. So it's very cool to get to see the behind the scenes, and then they go ahead and they skate for a second as well, which is pretty cool. And I just love such good. And what's interesting too, because I feel like skaters will also do some interesting. I mean, part of their culture, anyways. You have filmers. Some skaters turn into filmers. It's almost like an anime universe. But some skaters turn into filmers, and for the ones who turn into filmers or who stay filmers, I don't know, because some turn into business owners. So they turn to lots of things. Paul Rodriguez has turned into a business owner. Um, and what was I going to say about that? The filmers are doing so much good stuff, you know. Shout out to one filmer who I just noticed who had joined Twitch, Kev Perez, and he followed me. You know, Twitch is a really good place to meet cool people, you know, because I chat a little bit with Tom Asta on Twitch, just in his stream, you know, and it's just cool, you know. Like, yeah, I could go to his Instagram page and say what's up, Dub, and get a reply, but it's just cool that you're watching a live video of them, and then you get to say your comment, and then they get to reply to you live. To me, that's cooler for some reason. I realize it's actually not that different, but Kev Perez, I think most notably, as of recent, you know, he filmed some Yuto. Filmed some Yuto. Horegome recently. Let me throw some of that up there for you, but yeah, this is some of his stuff. Him filming anyway. Boom. 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 You know, I should probably link to all this stuff if I drop this video on YouTube. But anyway, this is just me proving my point of why I think skating right now is the most entertaining stuff out there. You know, it's interesting because me, as I was saying before, I don't do tricks really. You know, I love the vehicle. I love the science of the vehicles. I love the art of the media, because that's what that is to me. Look at that. That's just when someone does a nice, you know, what do you call that? 180? Is that a heel flip or a kick flip? But you know, they got all these names: half cab, blunt cab. No, I'm just joking. I look like I look like a nollie, a little off the nose, or I don't even know what his stance is, so I don't know if that's fakey or what, but you know, he's standing on the board, on the front of the board, you know, with his feet, pops it up like that. It's beautiful, it's floating, kicks it, taps it, his foot. Most people, they can barely jog. This guy's in the air and he's tapping things with his feet. Ooh. Or flicking it, you know what I mean? The artistry. But then the science of the board itself, you know, because these boards are designed to do this, which is interesting. It's very interesting. Anyway, that's enough on that, which is going to be the major segment of this Festival Fridays episode 0.8. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. It's your boy Kinyo hosting Go Live with Kinyo Festival Fridays.